Hello everyone, John with Citizen Survival Plan here. Today I got another suppressor review for you. This one has been out for a minute, but I really wanted to cover it. I just picked it up specifically to suppress my AR9 that I have. I've always wanted to suppress it, and this is what I picked to do that. Now this is a modular suppressor, so it actually comes in two pieces. We have a short configuration, and then right now it's got the extra extension on it for the long configuration. We are going to run Subsonics and Supersonic ammo through it on a Glock 26 and my AR9, and we're going to kind of do tests on both items. So stick around, should be a fun video, and we're going to get right into it. Let's start with a reason why we picked the Lunar 9 from GEMTECH over the new HuxWorks Flow 9mm suppressor. I know that I'm going to be putting a lot of rounds through the suppressor, through the rifle and through the pistol. So I wanted something with maximum serviceability. I want to be able to service this thing. Always hold the opinion, the more serviceable something is, the longer you're gonna be able to keep it nice. And that is true for the GEMTECH Lunar 9. While I really like flow-through suppressors, I know that I'm gonna be putting a lot of rounds through it, and I just can't get over not being able to open that thing up and service it. If you guys ever watched my HuxWorks Ventum review, even that suppressor isn't totally serviceable like one with traditional baffles in it, like this Lunar 9. Alright, we're going to start out just with an overview of the actual suppressor. This is what is really cool about this. This comes into two pieces, and that is the first section, and you can shoot it just like that. And it's kind of cool because you can get lighter weight with the short configuration, but not as much suppression. Or you can go to the longer and you get more suppression, but obviously you are going to gain some weight with that extension on there. I've actually taken a couple shots out of this already, so my hands are going to get filthy, but these are the baffles in it. Now, it starts out with a steel baffle. This is a heat-treated steel baffle as the blast baffle. So the first baffle is going to be able to endure a little bit more abuse than the rest of them. The rest of them are aluminum. I'll put what kind of aluminum on the screen, I can't remember, but it's good enough for 9mm. This is not a rifle rated cartridge. Now you can shoot Subsonic 300 blackout through these and it will be fine. The minimum barrel requirement to shoot this for 9mm is 3 inches minimum. So my Glock 26 today is almost 4 inches, so we're just within that threshold. And just like GEMTECH, you always have that ratchet front, so you can put a 3/8" drive into there and loosen it when it gets all gunked up. So interestingly enough, the extension has 4 baffles in it, and the main component only has 3 baffles, which I thought was kind of weird. I don't know how much of a complaint this is, but I would have rather seen 4 baffles in there and then the extension have 2 or 3. That's just me. There's probably a reason why they did it that way. The baffles that go in the extension tube do not fit into the regular portion of the suppressor, which I found kind of weird. I kind of thought about it as, oh, I won't really use the extension, and if I ever have a baffle strike or something in the middle there, I could always just pull one from the extension and have like some spares or something. But they are different, so that's not going to happen. Just something to note. That's my own little thing. You might not care about that, but just so you know, the extension baffles are different. With the GEMTECH suppressors and their baffle systems, they clip together like this. So if you put them in incorrectly, and it notates this in the manual, you will actually see gaps in between the suppressor body, and you'll know that it's put together incorrectly. But it's pretty obvious when you put it together incorrectly. Nothing sits flush, and it just looks wrong. To run this on a rifle, I did have to purchase this end here. This is the end that screws onto a rifle, and does not have the Nielsen or that spring-loaded contraption, as some call it. It is not a booster assembly. This is just empty. It just goes on the rifle and it just shoots. I do have a Nielsen device or booster assembly, whatever you want to call it, with me today, and we're going to hook it up to the Glock 26 and just see how it works. I don't particularly care about suppressing pistols that much. In reality, you're never really going to do it other than a party trick when you're at the range. It's not really a useful thing to suppress a pistol. Some of you might argue with me, and I welcome those arguments here, but I just don't really care about suppressing pistols. I wanted to suppress a rifle. It's cool that I can hook it up to a pistol, but I don't really care that much. Just to give you a baseline, this is just regular ball ammo, 115 grain. Okay, again, just for baseline testing, the suppressor on its full-length configuration, regular ball ammo, 115 grain.
This is long configuration supersonic ammo. Long configuration subsonic ammo.
Short configuration, supersonic followed by subsonic. Subsonic. I can tell you that I can't tell much of a difference between the long configuration and the short configuration as far as sound. I will say I am getting more gas back in the long configuration than the short. The short seems to just run a little less gassy, in my opinion. Now, other people might say something different, but it makes sense. I mean, if you add more baffles, you know, you're making it harder for that bullet to, not harder for the bullet to get out, but you're just creating more back pressure the longer it is. So it makes sense. I thought I was going to run it in the short configuration, and I'm right. It's shorter, it's lighter, it's more maneuverable, and it's not really much different in my opinion, which is surprising because this only has 3 baffles in it, and you add 4 when you go to that long configuration. So that is not quite the result that I thought that I would get. I thought I would get a lot more suppression, but from the charts that I looked at on GEMTECH's website, you can even see, and I'll post it here, there really isn't that much of a difference other than 4 or 5 decibels. So something to be said, that's pretty cool. One thing I want to note is I always use direct thread suppressors, and that is the mount that I have on today. And I'm not getting any walking off. I've seen people talk about that issue before. Well, all my suppressors, with the exception of that little GM22, after a lot of shots, will start to loosen. So if you see me grabbing the suppressor and checking its tightness, it's not coming loose and I'm not tightening it, I'm just checking it, and it's working. So I really like direct thread suppressors over those mounts. Those mounts just add weight, and I'm going to shoot my guns with suppressors. I don't plan on taking the suppressor off, so I just run it normal. All right, this is always a fun test. The first 5 shots in this magazine are going to be subsonic. And then after that, it will be 5 shots of supersonic. And we're just gonna shoot it into the water here. This gives you a good perspective on how loud it is to be where I am. Now this is supersonic. Way louder. Okay, we're moving on to the pistol here, and if you are new to suppressors, this is a direct thread mount for a rifle. It means it screws right on, and there's no booster assembly. Generally speaking, if you have a rifle or a pistol caliber carbine, they do not like extra gas. Your pistol needs extra assistance or gas. This booster assembly has a spring in it in there. I'm not going to take it apart on here, but any suppressor you run, other than like a suppressor that uses wipes, which is basically a disposable suppressor that you have to get rebuilt every 50 shots or so, you need a booster assembly. That's what this is, and I had to pay extra for the rifle mount actually from GEMTECH. This is about 80 bucks. The suppressor comes with the booster assembly. So we are just going to screw it on. And we're going to do the short configuration first. We'll check that out. A lot of threads. And we're good. All right, here we go. Short configuration with the booster assembly. And let's go ahead and run subsonic through it first. Let's see if I can even hit the target. I'm not used to shooting a suppressed pistol where I cannot see the end of those sights. So the suppressor is actually in the way of my sight. So you kind of got to shoot through the suppressor. So bear with me. Okay, not to go on too long here, but in the initial shooting of the suppressor in the long or short configuration, we had major issues with it. It would not cycle at all. It just kept jamming. And for whatever reason, the recoil on it was worse. So I did end up taking the booster assembly apart. There was some copper jammed in it, and I took the spring out and kind of compressed it and just made sure everything was in there right, and the pistol started working pretty much flawlessly the rest of the day. So whatever it was just kind of, something was weird with the booster assembly. It got taken apart, put back together again, and it ran. All right, here we go. We took the lid assembly, or the Nielsen device or booster assembly, apart. I messed with it a little bit, and I just had it running perfectly fine. So let's try this one more time. Little coming loose there. Okay, there we go. Woo, hot. So we're good. I think just that had to do with it breaking in, or I actually flipped the spring around. I don't know if that made a difference or not, but it's running now. I don't know. It's a brand new suppressor and a brand new barrel. I might have just had to kind of loosen things up for a second, but I ran it off camera, and now I'm back on camera. This Glock 26 is running perfectly fine now. All right, long assembly with subsonic. Should work. Oh yeah. It sounds so much better with the long assembly on the pistol. With the rifle, it didn't matter as much. But this, to really quiet this thing down, this thing on a pistol, just to suppress the pistol, that long assembly is the way to go. And last shot, hold it open. So we are held open. We're good to go. This thing's pretty sweet. I know I said at the beginning of the video, I don't really care about suppressing the pistol. It's more of a party trick, but sometimes things are just fun, and this is certainly very fun. I absolutely suck from shooting up here. Well, let's try the long assembly one more time from up here. I struggle with the sights in that suppressor. And that's just me. I can't blame anything but me on that. I hit it. There we go. And held open. That's Supersonic, long assembly. As I'm shooting this, I have noticed that on the rifle, it doesn't back off at all, but you get a couple shots, about every 6 shots, you got to check to make sure this is not coming loose. This is always a good way to show off suppressors, is just shooting at some water. It kind of muffles the shot sound, and you can really hear what the suppressor sounds like. So we got 5 Supersonic followed by 5 Subsonics. All right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the video. This was a fun shoot for me. I've always wanted to suppress the AR9. This is a really cool rifle to suppress just because they're not that loud to begin with, and suppressing them down is a ton of fun. I even think there's an argument to be made that this would make a better night vision rifle than a 223. So, the Lunar 9, cool little suppressor. I'm probably going to run it in the short configuration, mostly on this rifle, but I like to have that option to make it bigger. It's all aluminum except for that first baffle, so it is nice and light. Makes for a great walking around in the woods type of gun, or SHTF rifle, if you will. Thanks for watching. We will see you in the next video.